Hi, this is Osman. I'm an energy healer, yoga and meditation teacher, and an entrepreneur. Be sure to visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for more information on the services that we offer, as well as to be able to get in contact with us. And be sure to remember that our therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. If you have any illness or medical condition, be sure to visit a licensed and qualified medical professional in your locality. So today I want to discuss the importance of not giving up. So from a yoga and meditation perspective, this is even more important than normal life matters, because in yoga and meditation sciences, progress sometimes it becomes very slow. In the beginning, yes, you're going to have all the major things following you, improved health, improved mindset, calmness, and so forth. But as you're going and you're becoming serious and you want to go into the advanced levels of yoga, you want to make progress in spirituality, awakening your spirituality, developing your spiritual energy and your spiritual power. This takes a lot of time and patience. And be patient and make sure that you persist and don't give up, right? So relating to this, as my mother was a strong influence in my upbringing into who I am today. And she was always telling us stories and proverbs that stuck with me for the rest of my life, right? And helped shape my positive mindset and tenacity, especially in negative situations. So there's one story relating to not giving up. The story of a spider that tried 8 times. It was trying to weave a web. It reached a challenging position. It needed to jump across to another branch or another twig in order to complete the web, or important part of the web to be woven. And it missed. So there was a boy who was lying down under a tree and observing the spider. It saw it jump the first time and missed, second time missed, and it continued jumping, and he's wondering why didn't he choose another twig. But it continued and it only succeeded on the 8th time. He said, wow, it's a spider, it's a little creature, it's a little insect, and I get depressed so easily when I fail in something or can't get something right. But the spider failed 7 times and still continued. I'm a human, I should be better than the spider. So at that day, when my mother told me the story, I was feeling very depressed that I'd failed at some task. I think it was learning my times table, and I was struggling with learning it. And I was so frustrated. She was saying, no, don't be frustrated. She told me the story of the spider. She said, keep trying. How many times did you try? Right? I said, no, I just tried, once, and the second time also it didn't work, And then she said, no, the spider tried 8 times. At least try 9 times. At least be one better than the spider, right? She told me that story. And that's what made me, whenever I failed and tried to do something, I kept trying and trying and trying. Of course, I wasn't counting 7, 8 times. I just continued to try. And generally, I didn't need to go so many times, 8 times. Because I remember in my adult life, I always used to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and a plan E, right? So I didn't upfront make this plan. So when I saw the plan not working, I said, now it's time for plan B. Let me see what can I think of plan B. And then I see after a while plan B is not working. So okay, time for me to think of plan C. So very rarely I reached plan E, from my experience. So from possibly 1,000 problems, maybe I reached plan E maybe 2 or 3 times, right? And the rest of the time by plan C or plan B, it worked, right? So this is the importance of not giving up, because you'll achieve so many things you're going to abandon that you could have achieved, right? Now, especially from a yoga sciences point of view, some of the things are very difficult, and especially if you're treading the path alone, right? I didn't have the advice of, I had amazing teachers, but the teachers give you the initial advice and they disappeared from the picture, right? It's up to you to practice and, try to awaken. So I was trying to perfect the awakening and development of my dormant life force energy, or the Kundalini energy. So yes, it was awakened, decades before, and but I did not know how to manually, at will, control its awakening and let it settle, and help to develop its power and its strength on a daily, because there's a certain level of strength that you have to keep unlocking to raise its power. So the first time that I was able to manually awaken it, not happen by accident, at will. Whenever I will that it must awaken, that it awakens and raise it, took me, this happened in 2019 when I realized now I can consider myself on the master level of an energy healer, right? And I started to practice this science around 1977 formally. I would say 1978, right? 1978 very consistently, right? So 1978 to 2019 is like 40 years, right? 41 years, right? It took me before I mastered that. So I was trying, I did not give up for 40 years. Imagine if I gave up. I would not have come to the amazing level where I can manually, and the whole life changes, right? Because now I can heal critically ill patients, I can heal terminally ill patients telepathically, right? Telepathically, the person can be in the other end of the planet, right? I can be, in Dubai, and the patient can be in the US, or the patient can be in London, right? And instantly they are able to. So if I was not persistent and consistent, would not have reached that level. And also, of course, that is only the beginning. I mean, there's other aspects of development, self-development, and going to higher levels of consciousness and enjoying life. Meaning, my level of awareness has improved so much that I'm enjoying more nuances of life. A person can say one sentence, a normal person hears the one sentence. I'm hearing 1,000 messages behind that one sentence, right? I can read so many things, the history behind it, the tone, the intonation, what must have brought that person to make such a statement, and everything that could have been possible, right? And I can read so much into so many things. It makes me more aware, right? And more understanding of my environment and what's happening around me, that awareness helps me to navigate my life in respect to my awareness of what's around me. So I know how to maneuver myself to get what I want, and it makes it that much easier for me to get what I want. So these things, the importance of not giving up, there are sometimes like, in certain situations, you have to realize, that certain things, you need to respect when it comes to other people's wishes, right? So you want maybe, to win the love and affection of someone because you want to get into a relationship with that someone. So don't start stalking the person, stating that Osman said, don't give up, right? And keep trying, right? So there's boundaries, to serve. Don't stalk people, and respect people's wishes, and make it clear, of course, that you are interested in them, and if ever they, change the mind or something, you are, you're going to be there. But I mean, that's also a very, I would say, a sick statement, because are you going to, put your life on hold? How long are you going to put your life on hold for another person who doesn't want you? Just within a limited space of time or something, if they are worth it, you can, but don't spend too long, and I would say don't go more than, a reasonable amount of time. What's a reasonable amount of time? In my case, I wouldn't, if the person say no, there are, if you're looking at the opposite sex, right, and if you are heterosexual or whichever your sexual orientation, but as an example of a heterosexual person who, either way, whether you're male or female, right, so half the planet is available, right, potentially, right? So if there's 8.4 billion people right now, there's 4.2 billion men or women there. This one said no, right? You got a choice of at least from a pool of 4.2 billion. Even 4.2 million is too much. 4.2, thousand, 4,200 is even, too much. Even 420 is too much. Even 50 may be too much as well, right? It's sufficient to have, at least. So you got so much to worry about. Don't, one person is not everything, or one thing is not everything. As a caveat to, not giving up. But there's certain important things, especially with regard to your success, or your business success, or your financial success, or your health goals, or your goals towards improving your spirituality in the yoga science, or improving your knowledge and your education, right? Going towards that. So these things, don't give up. Give up. These are good things, and your health goals, right? So many things, are important things, that you should not give up on, and keep trying and don't keep trying the same thing that's not working. Try things in a different way. Try to find a new angle, a new way. If something is not working, don't keep repeating, because if you keep repeating that, it's what's the chance of it change? You have to change. In order for things to change, you've got to change, right? So you got to change things, right? Change things up, right? Learn to change things up, and using these things, but live with passion. And the important thing in not giving up is to have a positive mindset and the energy levels to be able to do that. If you don't have the right foundation, you are negative, you don't have energy, how are you going to be persistent? It's not possible. So this is where the tools such as yoga, meditation, your diet, and also your mindset, but these tools help create the right foundation, that when you want to be positive and you've got something, backing you up, and helping you, as tools. And that's the importance of yoga and meditation. So also coming back to, the original topic, the importance of not giving up, and being persistent, and, keep trying, right? Until you succeed. I mean, there's so many examples, and the best example is Thomas Edison, who, when inventing the light bulb, he had failed over 1,000 times. And when asked, aren't you despondent that you failed 1,000? He said, no, on the contrary, I did not fail 1,000 times. I know 1,000 ways it won't work, which means he wasn't doing the same things 1,000 times. So you may think, I tried so many things, I tried everything. How many things you tried? Thomas Edison tried 1,000 different things before he succeeded, right? The spider tried 8 times the same thing, yes, but the Thomas Edison's a human. He tried different things. So also try different things. So don't give up after you try 2 or 3 times, or 5 times, or 10 times, right? Once you've tried 1,000 different ways, then I would say, if it's important enough, right? And inventing the light bulb was very important. I mean, what would we do without the light bulb, right? Without electricity. So I hope these talks and videos are helping you, and remember to take care of yourself.